Hello my dear friends, today another Astrological Voyages show with Christos live from Athens, and I'm very happy that we are going to talk again about this specific important information and about how things are going to develop the next days or even the next months. I'm going first to talk about this important month we call December 2019, which I think is one of the most important months because it is the end and also the beginning of something very important, and I think this is of tremendous importance and it's going to change a lot. But let's not take more time and let's start. Of course, you can always ask something below the video, whatever you want, about a technique, about something that you work in astrology. You can communicate with me and you can send me anything that you believe it could be answered through astrology. And if you want, you can post a like or even share the video. So let's start. And we are having this Mercury forming a sextile with Pluto this day, 3rd of December 2019, and I think this is a great opportunity of changing things. And I'm saying 3rd of December because right here in Athens is 1 a.m. So for me it is already 3 of December. So this sextile between Mercury and Pluto is about succeeding in your long-term objectives. It's about doing things. It's about feeling powerful and wanting to change things according to your way. I think this is a very powerful period because it's going to help you a lot in making new things in your life, but also it is going to help a lot Scorpios and Taurus, also Capricorn and Cancers around the third decade on the 20, 21 and 22 degree to change the way they're viewing things and how they are communicating with others. Of course, this is always about persuading people and also talking about deep psychological issues that you may be in need to communicate, perhaps with your therapist or with someone important in your life. Talking to your father or your mother or someone important in your family life may be of great importance the next days. And then we are having this great sextile between Venus and Mars. And I think this is always a sextile of being successful. It is going to affect a lot the first decade of Cancer and all of the water and earth signs. They're going to feel really well. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, also Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces. They are going to feel really in tune with what happens in their life. This is always an aspect of being okay, about feeling physically attractive, but also creating a new kind of sexual relationship, about being in a romance with someone, about creating, about having fun with people, also about being passionate and changing things around you. This is always an aspect that is going to help us on developing more insights into our sexual life. And if you're working in a sexual, this sounds really weird, but let's say if you work in a sexual kind of job, like for example a sex therapist, this is always a very good opportunity in doing something more in your occupation and how you work in your daily life. But I think this is always an aspect that is going to help you create something new in your personal relationship. And of course we are having this square between Sun and Neptune. This is, I think, an aspect of misunderstandings and about having a very bad judgment about people around you. Of course, several mistakes are going to happen, and perhaps the most of the people that are going to be affected, they are going to feel a little blurry and they are going to feel that they cannot correlate with situations in their life right now. Mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius and Pisces around the 15th degree, 14, 15, 16th degree, they're going to feel this challenge of having a bad judgment, also not being in tune with their environment, and sometimes you may feel threatened by some kind of a weird situation that may not be very helpful for you. But on the other hand, I think this is a great aspect about finding a spiritual solution to a subject, yet that you may feel threatened, or you may feel that you can heal and getting better in your life, feeling finally your life is going to fix and it's going to change several things. I think this is always an aspect of feeling secure if you are emotionally mature, but if you are not an emotionally mature person, this is always an aspect that is going to bring a lot of conflict and a lot of tension, and some big problems may arise in your everyday life. On the other hand, we have this Venus forming a sextile with Neptune, and this aspect is about finding a new kind of a romantic relationship. If you belong to the signs of water, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces are on the second decade, 14, 15, and 16 degree. It is always about creating something new in your love life, about having a great fantasy and being very creative, about making your desires feel complete in your life, also being very sensible about others' emotions. And I think this is always about giving love, give some intimacy, and also about art and creativity. I think Capricorns, Cancers, Pisces, and Virgo around 15 degree, 14, 15, 16 degree, they are going to feel really well, and are going to feel that their life is becoming even better. They are going to feel very successful and very happy with what happens. I think this is a great aspect that is going to help a lot in forming perhaps even a romantic relationship, or communicating with someone that he is on a distance. And talking with about distance, we have to talk about this Mercury entering the sign of Sagittarius. I think this is always about expanding. Yes, Mercury in Sagittarius is about expanding, about sharing information, enjoying information, doing some philosophy, understand what's the importance of having the big picture, but also is about traveling and about sharing new ideas and having new concepts in your own life. On the other hand, Mercury in Jupiter is always about feeling misguided. This is a not good position for Mercury. Mercury is about having an analytical mind, about understanding the smaller details, but Sagittarius is not a sign that has to do with details. On the contrary, has to do with big picture. That means that several conflicts may arise that may create some problems in our life, so we need to be very careful in how we communicate with others. Also, sometimes we may be very positive on a thing that may cost us in the long term. And we have also this Jupiter forming a square with Chiron. This is always an aspect that is going to affect the first decade of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn on the first degree, 0, first, and second degree. This is about forgiving, about changing, about creating a new love life or a new positive way of dealing with things. Also, it's about recreating the way you are dealing with your life and how you're really reacting to the external stimuli and the external influences. I think this is always about changing the way you understand the word and how you react to this word, and how you're going to react to the positive or negative things around you. And then we are having this Mercury forming a trine with Chiron, and I think this is a completion of the energy of feeling finally that you can forget your trauma and you can go onwards in your life. On the 11th of December 2019, this is always an aspect that is going to bring a sense of maturation in our love life, and perhaps may bring some possible problems or obstacles in our financial situation. This is an aspect that is going to bring, of course, loyalty, duty, but on the other hand, you may be a little conservative, or some people may break up, because this aspect is always about getting very serious in your emotional situations. Sometimes we may feel inhibited and not feeling well about sharing our love life or our emotions, and this is always about having conflict about financial matters, so you need really to be careful. Then we are having this Mars having a trine with Neptune. This is always an aspect that is going to bring charisma. This is an aspect that is going to bring a lot of faith to our life. It is going to affect a lot the second decade of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, but also Taurus and Virgo on the second decade. They are going to feel affected. This is about witnessing something new, about having a belief that is going to change your life, about a success in something. This is about the sacred warrior, the sacred traveler that is going to accomplish his purpose. This is about displaying your emotions and feeling well about them, but also feeling in love with the world, not just the love between some lovers, not the love within your family, but the love you have within yourself for the whole world. This is about changing, about having great force and believing in yourself and changing all these bad emotions you may shared in the past. And then we have on the 13th of December 2018 this Venus forming a conjunction with Pluto, and this is about jealousy, about manipulation, about dealing with things that has to do with money. And of course the cardinal signs on the third decade 2021-22, they may feel this powerful conjunction. This is about making others love you, is about being careful on matters of trust, about having a very intense interaction with others, and sometimes about deeply wounded people that they have the need to manipulate others because they don't know other ways on dealing with their emotions and their own state of mind. This is about playing with your luck and playing money in order to succeed something. But you need to be careful, because sometimes we are overreacting and we expect more, and that may bring havoc in our everyday situation. And then we have a great aspect. I love this aspect. This is the God that comes and helps us at the last moment, and we feel secure. And something that ancient Greek tragedy invented when there was a very bad situation. Sometimes in ancient Greek tragedy we had the idea of a god coming at the end of a situation to solve the problem and save the hero in his most problematic situation. And I think this Jupiter forming a trine with Uranus is about doing something good and have a success in matters of study abroad, about having success in something very important in your life, about breaking your routine, about believing that you can change things, about being fascinated by new ideas, about creating something positive from a conflict. And I think this is always about bringing something innovative in your life. It's about creating something big and getting out of a prison, ideological or even material prison. It is about forming something new and having the power to change it and have the power to create it. And I think this is always about feeling that you can succeed and you can change and you can develop things in very different ways. And then we have this Mars forming a sextile with Saturn on the 19th of December 2019, and it's going to affect a lot of people around the second decade: Taurus, Scorpio, and Capricorn, Cancer. This is all about creating new ways on being successful. This is the businessman aspect. Is about having power and being in control of that power. Is about getting out of any suppressions and being successful through discipline, through patience, and also it's about having something that is not going well for now, but this obstacle may be for good. So you may have a delay or an obstacle about something, but finally this is something that is going to work for you. And then is always about making new business and being practical and using the most positive energy of yourself in changing your habits and also changing the way you're interacting with others. And then we have this Mercury forming a square with Neptune. I think this is always an aspect about getting deceived, being deceived. Is about having misperceptions. Is about having other people telling lies to you, or you may be the one that is going to tell lies to the others. But I think that has also to do with our intuition, about how our right brain is going to use his energy, the creative brain, the brain that has to do with our intuitive energy, and about transforming our own ways of thinking. I think this is a very deep and transformative situation that is going to help us a lot in changing and creating new ideas, new concepts. This is a great aspect in making us feel well, making us feel successful, but also this is always an aspect that is going to help us a lot about changing what really is not doing us good. This Mercury square with Neptune is also about recreating and finding a new positive way of dealing with something that cannot be healed, but you need to accept it and you need to get over it. Then we have this Venus being on the sign, getting on the sign of Aquarius on the 20th of December 2018. Venus in Aquarius about being unconventional, about being free, about sharing your individuality with the others, about having independent thought and also being free from the emotional obstacles sometimes others put on yourself. This is about being within the community, finding new friends, finding new people that you can share your emotions and feeling very happy and complete in your life. And also, this is always a position about being more liberal, but also getting detached by your emotions, and sometimes may seem that you may have a little distance from the others, emotional distance. But this sextile formation with Chiron on the 21st of December, I think this is a great opportunity in creating new relationships. So Aquarians and Leos, but also Aries and Libra, the first decanate around the first degree, they are going really to feel happy and complete and secure. And this is about creating new emotional ways and dealing finally with what you really want in your life. But also this is always an aspect on having again faith in yourself. Of course, on the 21st of December 2019, we have the Sun entering the sign of Capricorn. This is always an aspect that has to do with the winter solstice. The god is dead. That is the symbolism with the Sun entering Capricorn. But at the same time, this is a symbolism about changing and directing your emotions in new positive ways, because the god may died, but there is always a promise of the spring equinox. So the promise of regeneration and of a new word. And happy birthday to the beloved Capricorns. And then we are having the square of Venus and Uranus. This is always an aspect that is going to bring conflict and a lot of problems and pressure in our everyday situation. If you are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio or Aquarius, this is always an aspect that's going to bring conflict in your emotional situations. You may be really unconventional and sometimes even rebellious. So try not to solve problems within your relationship and try to avoid solve things around your financial situation. It is always an aspect of social excitement and feeling really well with yourself and with others. And of course, this is always about displaying yourself and what you really want from your partner, but try to be polite and ask for it, not demanding. Don't try to be demanding, because this is not something that's going to end well. We can ask without being in fear of losing something, and you just need to share your emotions with the others and feeling well without being very unconventional and sometimes critical. On the 22nd of December 2019, we have this Mars forming a sextile with Pluto. Is about an aspect about power, about changing things, about having the ability to transform and manipulate, and having power and succeeding with what you want. Scorpios, Capricorn, and of course Cancer and Taurus on the third decade, they are going really to feel this emergence of power and have this high energy that is going to convince other people to follow you or do what you want. And of course, it is always an aspect of sexuality. Is about having fun with your sexual partner or finding a sexual partner. It is about creating new ways of sexual expression, or about even more rare expressions of sexuality that may not be in your daily routine, but perhaps an expression of your sexual self that you didn't expect it. And then we have the Sun forming a trine with Uranus. I think this is a great aspect. It is formed in the 24th of December 2019. It's going to affect a lot this first decade of Cancer, Capricorn, and also Taurus, Scorpio in the first, second, and third degree. It is about creating new ways in your life, about being progressive and innovative, about doing something new, about finding hope, and about bringing something fundamental and very important in your life. This is about happiness. This is about being complete. It's about sharing your ideas and your emotions, and about transforming your daily life. The signs of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, the first decade, are going to feel that something really changes from themselves. And I think this is always an aspect that you can change and you can feel finally inventive. And through this invention, several problems in your daily life, they are going to be solved. And this is always something great, and you're going to feel really happy about it. And then we have on the 26th of December 2019, a great solar eclipse. And this solar eclipse happens around the 4th degree, 4 degree and 6 minutes on the sign of Capricorn. And also we have this conjunction with Jupiter that is very close. They're forming a trine with Uranus, and I heard some astrologers saying that this is a good trine because there is a Jupiter-Uranus trine. Yes, but Jupiter is in his fall, and Uranus is his also fall. And also we are having this North Node conjunction, which has to do with the past and how we've created several problems in our past. So I think this is always about, let's say, an eclipse of karma, about what you've done. So if you've done good things, good deeds in your life, since now you're going to feel all these gifts come to you. But if you were not prepared, or if you've done some really bad things to other people or even yourself, this is something that's going to get against you. This is going to turn you back in several ways. This is about an eclipse that changes all of the things around 2020. It is the starting point of the severe crisis, and also the transformation that's going to happen on the third decade of the cardinal signs. This is always about giving a new way and transforming yourself. This is about creating new fascinating ideas, but also about believing finally in ourselves. Again, I'm telling to you, do not fall in the cognitive trap that nothing can change and there is the end. I think that a lot of people, they are going to try us to make us feel incapable in changing our life, or we may feel in fear. Do not let this fear conquer your life. Do not let stress destroy your emotional life and your everyday life. Try to change it. Do not believe the cognitive trap. Try to change it. Try to believe in yourself and react. Astrology is not about just destiny, it's about transforming ourselves and giving new ways, believing in ourselves, and also contributing to something new. Do not fall to the cognitive trap of this eclipse that has to do with having no hope. There is always hope. In the hardest situation, in the most difficult things, you can find hope and the power to change yourself. The cardinal signs, of course, of the first decan, they're going to feel this energy, and this square with Chiron has to do with deeply wounds you have from your past. Perhaps a father that was never there, a mother that was very manipulative against you, and since you don't know what really happens, you are avoiding what really happens in your life. So try and deal with your reality. See yourself in the mirror. Understand your image. Love your image. Accept what you don't like and change it. But love yourself. And this is, I think, the most important thing you need to do, especially around this eclipse on the 26th of December 2019. Which is, I think, always an eclipse about giving transformative experiences to yourself. This is a great eclipse about understand what happens. But also, this is always, this is an eclipse of dogma. This is an eclipse of having control, of manipulative hours, of inflicting something bad to the others. And it is always about having pressure. And of course, about inequalities within a society, because we're going to have this kind of inequalities. And then on the 27th of December 2018, we have this conjunction between Sun and Jupiter. I think this is an aspect that is going to change a lot of things. I never believe that the conjunction with Jupiter are good, especially when the Jupiter is in 4. It's about having miscalculations, about believing things are going to happen that are not, about treating yourself in a bad way, or getting very overextended in your daily life, something that's going to create a lot of problems. But deeply within this conjunction, I can find the sense of hope and change, and believing that finally through the winter we are going to make it, and we are going finally to see the spring. And that is, I think, the most important message. On the 28th of December 2018, we have Mercury entering Capricorn. This is always about being logical, about being practical, about having authority, especially the cardinal signs and also the earth signs like Taurus and Virgo. They are going to feel that they are going to have a lot of ideas being formed and having a success in those formations. Also, this is an aspect that is going to bring you a lot of happiness and have a sense of being complete. And of course, this is always about being in authority. But try not to be just for the business. Try to communicate with your heart. Mercury in Capricorn sometimes is very defensive in expressing his emotions. You need really to be careful about treating also your love life in the same way you treat your professional life. And also the people may be harsh or difficult, so you need to be you need to accept others and not be afraid of them. And the first aspect that is going to form on the 29th of December 2018 is this square with Chiron. This is always about understanding trauma and about changing these traumatic events, and understand also that you are not just this traumatic situation. Sometimes people, they are focusing so hard in the negative things in their life. We are focusing about all of the dramatic events that happened, and we forget that we have also great lives that we should be really happy to live them. So we need to change the way we understand ourselves and see the trauma. And then we have this Mercury forming a trine with Uranus. I think this is always about creating new ways and being innovative and having a new viewpoint that is going to solve a severe problem in your daily life. And also this is always an aspect about being experimental, but also being very technical and solving a lot of things in your life. I think this is always about creating and changing the way and the route of your life. And I think this is a very good aspect to finish. And my second subject I want to discuss with you is about the moon signs and how a moon sign sometimes may bring a lot of problems when it's having a lot of bad aspects, and what we can do. For example, the moon in Aries is always about not having peace with ourselves. So we really need to calm. We really need to we really need to accept ourselves. It's about having clarity and also not being in fear. I think this is an aspect that has to do with believing in ourselves and not being always in tension, and also about being impatient and having the fear of failure. I think the most important thing that people with moon in Aries is to have inner peace and understanding themselves. And then we have this moon in Taurus, and I think moon in Taurus also has to look what happens in the opposite side. You are very, very organized, you are very serious, and you are very stable, and you believe strongly in your foundations. But sometimes you really need to understand that change is the solution. So always people with moon in Taurus are afraid of change and transforming things, but you need to make this change part of you and not being in fear of this change. So you really need to look deeper in what happens in your life, because yes, you're very lovable people, but you really need to feel okay with you, because sometimes you're really in fear of change. And I think moon in Gemini is always about being scattered, and that's why you're always having one of the most sensitive central nervous systems. Is about having a great duality in your mind, because you don't understand what is good and what is bad. But on the other hand, is about always fighting and always being in a constant way of moving and changing. So you really need to understand that you don't just need to learn things and going around and around, but you really need to find what is really an inspiration for you and follow this inspiration and get in a deeper way and understand what this inspiration is for you. And also you are going also to get rid this butterfly effect, that sometimes this is going to bring you a lot of conflict with other people that cannot cope with this extreme mutability. And then we have this moon in Cancer. Moon in Cancer, of course, is in his dominion, is an aspect about feeling well, sharing your emotions, getting rid other people and being happy. But sometimes you are very, very protecting to yourself and to the others, and this makes you really anxious. This makes you being in fear with others, especially foreigners. What you really need is to find your inner peace. Is about finding your inner calmness and finding a method about having structure in your life, because being externally as a hard rock and protecting everything in a very harsh way is creating problems in your everyday communication, and this is never something good. So you need really to relax and have a belief in yourself that things are going to go well, even if you are not like an external rock that is not allow anyone to go deeper. And we have also this moon in Leo, and moon in Leo for me is always about being inflexible and being stereotypical and afraid of criticism, but also is about being humble. So you really need to serve, not just expect from the others to give you what is really right for you, but also you need to go hunt and find what you really want. But also you need to understand that you need to serve and help, and you need to understand that you are part of a community, not just you and the others, but you are a team. So you need to understand from the opposite, you understand the different way of being from the opposite side, this of Aquarius. And of course we have moon in Virgo. Oh my god, moon in Virgo, the absolute OCD is a disorder called in psychology obsessive compulsive disorder. uh, is about being unsettled and about being critical and about being always very very tense with your situation. You're worried about anything. You worry about anything, and this is something that creates problems in your everyday life. So you need to relax and also finding a way to serve others, not just through material things, but also giving them your inner self, about sharing your emotions, and about creating a new way of life. I think that Moon in Virgo is about finding ideals that are going to help you develop this serving attitude in a more broadened way. And then we have this Moon in Libra, and I think Moon in Libra is about being in fear of being alone, as about having not the courage on changing things or even staying alone for a while. And sometimes you cannot decide. This is always about feeling unable to be alone, and you are doing the worst uh, things in your life because you are choosing people that they don't deserve you. Always when the moon is not aspected well, I found people with great moon in Libra that they are really good and they are very happy even alone, and they can deal with their everyday situation. I'm talking about a very bad aspected moon in Libra. And I think that you really need to find the power within you to deal with yourself, and not having other people always giving you the positive feedback in order to feel well. And of course, we have the prince of manipulation and obsessiveness, which has to do with Moon in Scorpio. Moon in Scorpio is about being vengeful and also about being unforgiving, and sometimes about being in a dark situation and you cannot come out. And I think the most important thing about Moon in Scorpio is about get over it. Every human being is in a difficult situation sometime in his life. So you need just to get over it and look forward and understand your charisma, your emotional density, the positive outcome of your transformative power and energy, and not eat yourself just because you are moody or you have these negative emotions. And of course, we have Moon in Sagittarius, which has to do with being pragmatic. Moon in Sagittarius is always the most positive moon in the world. She always believes that things are going to go even better. And of course they may go even better, but you really need to fight. Is not the good goddess of luck that is going to hit you 3 times and everything's going to change. Sometimes Moon in Sagittarius expects the best without trying for the best, and also is about having an exaggeration, about being dogmatic, of course. This is something also very problematic with Moon in Sagittarius, because you cannot change the way you're dealing with yourself and you believe that you are the only and one truth. It's about religion in the worst kind of situations, about not hearing anything else, about dogma. And then we have Moon in Capricorn. Moon in Capricorn is about believing in love, about having faith to yourself and your emotions. Sometimes you're getting so much in fear of your emotions that you are very distant. It's like a whole castle is around you, and you do not share anything with the others. It's about having depression and not feeling well with yourself. So this moon in Capricorn needs really to believe in love, in emotions, in sharing, about having really truthful communication, and sometimes having fun just for the fun. And then we have this moon in Aquarius. I think moon in Aquarius is always a great aspect. Moon in Aquarius is about being extreme, but also it is about being the saboteur of yourself. You also have problems in expressing your emotions. You can express yourself with a whole group, and you cannot communicate with one-to-one relationships. Sometimes you are sabotaging yourself, and you believe in a communal way of sharing things that it is problematic, especially for our own period of our society. I think you are very independent, and sometimes in fear of losing your independence, you are getting away of things that you shouldn't. You need to accept that sometimes we need to be close to some burden in order to understand some things that may be important for our psychological well-being and process of maturation, but also is about being really those incredible and innovative people that you can really do some wondrous things in your life. And finally, we have Moon in Pisces, which has to do with stop being the victim. It's very simple. Stop being the victim. Stop it. Stop sharing whatever is important for you just because you are the good person. Try not to be always an escapist. And I think it's about being realistic with what you expect from the others and your life. And of course, sometimes they are really impractical. I think that Moon in Pisces has to do with really understand that you are great people, yes, and we all believe that, but we really need to feel secure and not having fear on being harsh sometimes with ourselves or with others. And what I found always very important is that this Moon in Pisces is about forgiving yourself. You can forgive everyone except from yourself, and being harsh to yourself, this is always a problematic situation. And I think it's very different in giving yourself to someone that is going really to be helped by your sacrifice, and very different to sacrifice something to a person that is not going to say at least a thank you for this sacrifice, or he or she doesn't need this sacrifice. You need first to ask if the other wants that. And I think that has to do with every situation that we talked for all of the moon positions. You need first the other to ask if that you give is what he wants. Otherwise, you are just playing yourself's game. It is like a self-programmed robot that you're doing what you've learned and what you want, but you do not hear what the others want from you, and that is always a problematic situation. So the next time, try first to ask someone, do you want me to give you that? Do you want me to sacrifice something I want, because I want to sacrifice that for you, but do you want it? Do you need it? Is it something constructive, or a great sacrifice is going to end up for no reason? And if you say about Jesus, Jesus sacrificed himself to save the humanity. And if you have to sacrifice from something, at least you need to save something, and not just sacrifice yourself and again having at the end the worst scenario for everyone. Thank you very much for one more show that you were with me. We are going again to be together in the next Monday, 1 a.m. from Athens. All around the world it will be a different time. Thank you very much for your support and your great messages you give me in my Facebook inbox. And I'm very happy that we share all of this information all this time. Again, from the Facebook page of International Society for Astrological Research, I'm going to hope for everyone have a great day, midday, afternoon or night. Thank you very much, and always have fun and be real with yourself. Bye bye.